fresh cadavers. He showed that pulling on fascia of one region of the body didn't just affect that region of the body, or the neighboring region, or the neighboring region. He showed that pulling on the fascia of one region of the body sort of made the fascia from a very distant region of the body sort of glide and be affected by the action from that other region. That's how healthy tissue usually should work. Now that we got all of that squared away, let's go back to myofascial decompression. Now, myofascial decompression is an application of cupping that was developed by Dr. Chris DiPrato of UCSF. Basically, what you do is you apply the cup to some part of the body, you pump it up so that it lifts the tissue, and then you add movement so that the muscle starts to move underneath that lifted tissue. So what does this do? Let's go back to our explain table. So this is sort of what happens when you apply a cup to the skin. The cup creates a vacuum and sucks the tissue up into the cup. Now when you apply movement, the thought here is that the muscle underneath the skin where you have the cup sort of slides around underneath the cup like so. Now when you apply this to a trigger point or any part of the body that feels restricted or any muscle that has a palpable adhesion, the thought here is, if you think back to what Thomas Myers said, is that these layers sort of start to slide a little bit better. So now I think a fair question to ask here is that actually what's happening? Are you actually creating a vacuum that's sucking up more than just skin and adipose tissue? Are you actually sucking up some of the muscle? The short answer to that question is yes, that is what's happening. Dr. DiPrato has shown in some pilot studies that he's conducting using MRI machines that when you use a cup, it actually lifts multiple layers of tissue, including the muscular layer. Now, I could only provide rough sketches because I absolutely do not have the rights to those MRI images, nor do I actually have them. But I've seen them. I've seen a lecture that was provided by Dr. DiPrato himself, and he has shown that this is what happens in MRI studies. Now, what happens when you take off the cup? So the next part of that pilot study was to take off the cup, wait for a period of time, I think it was about 20 or 30 minutes, and take another image of the skin. And what they found was that the layers of tissue that were lifted were still lifted after 20 minutes. And this sort of shows that there is at least some sort of mechanical